Well, hello again. This is Analytical Astrology, and this is episode 4. Look at that. Episode 4. So, there's astrology later in this little video because I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about something that I think is important and good to know or good to think about, and that is that the other people in our lives and the people that we deal with astrologically are not extensions of us. And it's easy to forget that, I think. And so if we wonder what is good advice or what is correct information, and so we may suggest to people the kinds of things that we do and the kinds of things that work for us, but that doesn't mean that they're going to work for other people. And you can often, I don't want to say damage people, but you can get them off track by giving them advice that works for you, but that really doesn't work for them. And as an example, there's a fellow I used to know, and he was a therapist, and one of his big things was that in order to get rid of tension and stress, what you do is you get a tennis racket, and you put a pillow on the floor, and you kneel in front of the pillow, and you whack and whack and whack and bang away at the pillow, and that gets rid of tension and stress. And the thing is, it worked for him, and it may work for many people, but it doesn't work if you have Mars in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius in an air sign. So it just doesn't work. It makes you more stressed. And so what worked for him doesn't automatically work for other people. And generic advice is generic advice, but it's not necessarily correct for any particular individual. So if you're going to use astrology to deal with other people or to help them understand what's going on, you really ought to know the person. You need to know what that particular person's life is about, what their path in life is about, and their reason for being here. And so their reason for being here is not going to be, it may be similar to yours in some ways, but it's not the same. It's not, their path is not like yours. And this is assuming, I know some people do astrology charts for other people, and they don't even know, they've never really looked to see what their path in life is. They've assumed that what they learn is valid and legitimate for other people, and I think it's not. Even in simple ways, because we all eat and sleep, right? And so, but if you take something like what we care about, what we care about is not the same for all of us, it's different. And what we get from watching television, for instance, is not the same, because one person may watch television because it gives them a chance to relax and to sort of lose themselves in something, not have to think about anything. Somebody else may watch television in order to learn something new. Somebody else again may watch TV because they like particular shows because it gives them a sense of belonging. So if you've got a chart and you say to the person, you ought to stop watching television. So to the first person, you really have to suggest some other way in which they can lose themselves. The second person, you need to suggest some other way that they can learn new material, learn new information. And for the third person who wants a sense of belonging, you can't just take away television and give them nothing in its place. You need to suggest other ways in which they can get a sense of belonging. But I think, I don't know most people, but I think people generally don't do that. They have the astrological knowledge they've got at the moment, and they sort of impose it from without on the other person. And I think that's a mistake and bad. And you really ought to understand what the other person is like and how they're built. So we go back to that. If you, in previous, I forget which episode it was, but I looked at my daughter's 9th house. Okay, so she is Sagittarius in the 9th. Okay. And a few days ago we were discussing, somebody we know is looking to develop his business. And I was asking her what she thought he should do. And so she said, if you want to develop a business, you have to network. You have to meet people. So go through all your emails and email everybody you've been in touch with and tell them, give them a special offer or give them something, whatever it happens to be. And the other thing that he could do is join a business association, like some people do, the local I forget, Better Business Bureau or something like that. And so my daughter's a lawyer, and it sort of makes sense that she would talk about networking and schmoozing with people and going to meetings and blah, 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 handing out business cards. And so she was talking along those lines, and I was thinking, that's all very well, so do what you want. But if the transits of the planets are not with you, then forget it. If it's not astrologically valid, it's not going to work. And so the reason I'm talking about this is because I think we're all better off if we have some kind of answer. It can be temporary or it can be permanent. But I think we need some kind of answer to the question, why are we in life? Okay, because some people, let me turn that piece. Okay, some people think life is a school. And so if you think life is a school and you're learning a lesson each day, then you're doing okay. And you're doing the right thing because life is a school. And if you're learning your lessons, then you're in harmony with the purpose of life. Some people think, okay, life is a school, but we're supposed to become teachers. So if we're becoming better, more knowledgeable each day and passing on information to other people, then we're acting properly, we're behaving correctly. But then other people think, you know, there's a chemical exchange and it's all an accident. And so you're in life and you may as well live it as best you can because there's no reason for it. So live for today because tomorrow we may die. And so other people think, well, it's all just a matter of luck, it's chance. And so you're in life and you can live it well or you can live it badly. And, you know, luck plays an important part. So the astrological point is this, that my daughter's philosophy, because this is the 9th as well, foreign travel as well as philosophy. And so philosophy in many ways relates to why are we in life? What are we here to do? What are we here to learn? Or how are we here to live? And so my daughter's philosophy of life is Sagittarius in the cusp, ruled by Jupiter. And if you remember, it's at 29 degrees of Libra. And Pluto was at 25, I think, Libra, in the 7th. So she says, how do you develop a business? Her philosophy is network. The 7th are the people. Jupiter, expansion in the sign of partnerships, in the house of other people. And it's conjunct Pluto that represents groups and the masses. So her answer and her explanation is network, give out business cards, join associations. And it makes total sense given her starting point, which is Sagittarius in the cusp and Jupiter in Libra conjunct Pluto in the 7th. Whereas my answer was, I've got Jupiter, Sagittarius in the 9th as well, but I get Jupiter over here at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and Aquarius rules astrology. So my answer is going to be astrological. Or weird, depending on what you mean, what you understand by Aquarius here. But the thing is, that's why I think transits are what's important to know and to know about, and the astrological reason is important. The other thing to note, or another point I'd like to make, is my daughter's Jupiter is direct, and so her position is just go ahead and do it. My Jupiter is retrograde, and so retrograde, as we all know, looks like that or something like that. And it means that one way of looking at it is the energy is cut in half. And so with me, Jupiter's retrograde, maybe there's less motivation to do this, to follow through on what the 9th house represents. Or else, because it's retrograde, there's going to be a delay in actually doing what I want to do, or what I desire to do, or what I choose to do, or what I know I should do. Because Jupiter is retrograde, the significance of the 9th is retrograde. Or maybe it means, because it's cut in half, it's as if the energy works outwardly and inwardly. So maybe with a retrograde planet, what you need is, or what happens is, the outer decision needs an inner counterpart. So it's not just go out into the world and get it done. There needs to be an inner understanding as well, maybe, and then you go ahead and do what has to be done. So there's going to be homework at the site. I don't know quite what it'll be yet, but I'm going to have a couple of suggestions on how we could follow up and follow through with this type of thing. And it'll be at the website, so you need to go there and have a read at it. And in episode 5, we're going to look at Julia. Let me just look at the time. Okay, almost 10 minutes, so somebody told me that YouTube doesn't have a 10-minute limit anymore, and we'll see if that works. So episode 5 is going to be about Julia, and she used to live in Denver, and I asked her why she left Denver and made a couple of suggestions about why that might have happened and why she moved back to the East Coast. And she gave me a whole lot of information, and she moved. She lived in a whole bunch of different places, and we're going to look at that and why and how it came about that she lived in various places and went sort of crisscross back and forth across the United States. So that's going to be in episode 5.